Welcome back, Maine Mariners fans. This is the Maine Hockey Report brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. I am delighted to welcome in our next guest, Captain of the Maine Mariners, Mr. Wyllum Deveaux. Wyllum, welcome in, sir.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's exciting to join the show and excited to hopefully get back on the ice soon here. So it's great to use my time up like this.
Well, I certainly appreciate it, and I do want to apologize to everybody. My camera is having a moment, so I am just on audio today. So my made-for-radio face here will be protected from you all. So, of course, let's go back to Game 1, Wyllum. I know that every Maine Mariner fan kind of went dark when we saw you go down there. Such a deflating feeling for us. I'm sure it was way more deflating for you, but just beyond the physical injury, just how are you doing overall here this season?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. And yeah, I mean, it's a tough bounce going down in your first game. You train all summer and get ready. And, we have high goals for this season. And it's been exciting, like having all the guys back, returning from last year, the new guys we brought in. And we have a great roster, a great group of guys. So I think that's the hardest part, is not being able to be in the locker room on game days, like on the road with the guys. But, these things happen in life. It's another chance to challenge yourself and come back strong. So, yeah, I was probably in the moment, it stunk, but you had to quickly reframe your mindset and look at the positive side. I mean, it's a chance to, work on my skating, get in better shape off the ice. I mean, just trying to stay positive has been a big thing. But to answer your question, it sucks not playing, but I'm doing well, and it's I'm glad that Coach the Killer and Dexter, have let the injured guys stay around the team instead of going home, for these long-term injuries. So with that being said, it's just great, and I'm grateful to be around the boys every day and be able to hopefully come back playing soon here. So there's light at the end of the tunnel.
No, that's awesome to hear. Awesome to hear. And yeah, it's great that you've been able to be around the team and not have to get shipped home. We'll talk more about some of that leadership piece here in a little bit. This will hopefully be the last time I'll have to talk about this, but of course the CBA done. Strike is behind us. I know you and I talked a little bit there over the holiday, but all the nasty business is done. But any thoughts to share on that topic?
It's great to have it behind us. I think it was a stressful time. I mean, with something like that, you never know, how long it could go. And luckily, it was only 2 days. We missed 3 games, and the games are rescheduled later in the season. So, the hardest thing for us, and like I said in a pregame message to the fans, was, we didn't want to hurt, our coach, our ownership, our fans. Like, everyone hurts in a strike. Everyone pays the price. But I think the change that happened was due for the league, and I think it will help in the long run. I'm glad that, the PHPA and the union didn't prolong it and try and ask for too much. I think the marginal changes we made were crucial, mainly around health and safety, travel, and then obviously financial compensation. So I think it'll help retain talent here more, and in the long run, it'll put a better product on the ice. And I know that Mariners fans and everyone in the ECHL wants players to stay around longer instead of going to Europe per se, or other options where they might be more lucrative. But so I think all in all, it's a positive, and I think I attest Killer, our whole coaching staff, and our owner Dexter for kind of helping us through that and making sure that they stood beside us and we're ultimate professionals through what is an unfamiliar situation for all of us.
I think when we all read the statement that you and the team put out there during the strike, I think there was a lot of relief from Mariner fans that while you guys were on different sides of the aisle, that, the relationship with ownership, with Dexter and the team, that it was all positive despite where you guys were at. So that was really great to hear. Of course, we did have Dexter Payne on the show a little while ago after the strike was over. Just to speak to just the nature of your relationship with him.
Yeah, no, of my 3 seasons here, Dexter's on the team for 2, and it's been a really positive change. The first year, we didn't really see our ownership, Comcast. They took care of us. But I think having an individual, a family ownership with Dexter and Susan has been monumental to the Mariners as a whole, and I think I know it's only going to continue to grow. But They're great people. They're very down to earth. They care about the players. They care about the Mariners. They care about the community. So, I mean, those are the three biggest boxes to check as an owner in sports, I think. And I think for the players, it's great. Their visibility, coming to Maine, being at games, and being like true fans of the Mariners makes it all the more special. So we're very grateful and lucky to have the Payne family, own the Maine Mariners, and they give us all the resources and all the opportunities to put the best product on the ice. And as the team's been doing lately, we it's fun to play for owners who care and want to see us win. Have that, they demand excellence, and that's what you want to play under. So it's been excellent.
Great to hear. When I put that video out about a month ago, I got a comment from a fan out in Wichita, and he was like, "Can he come by the Wichita team? Because we could really use the ownership." I kind of chuckled on that one. I was like, "What in the world is going on in Wichita?" But to your point, I think we're really lucky to have the ownership we have here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the strike and the negotiations between the league and the PHPA kind of unveiled that. And I think it held some owners accountable, and it might not be just the old school way of doing things. And I think change was necessary. But moving forward for the ECHL and the Maine Mariners, I don't think we could find better hands to be in. And like I said, you want great people in business, and they are great people. So we're in good hands.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. Of course, Wyllum, you've been forced to watch from the box this year. And I'm sure every hockey fan or a hockey player that goes through an injury has to kind of deal with this. But how do you watch games now? I mean, are you sitting up there watching as a fan? Are you watching more like with a coach's hat on? Like, how are you consuming your team out there on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said at the start, it sucks watching, especially when games get heated and big, competitive. Games get competitive, like that's where you miss it the most. You try and not get too tied up, but I think the main thing is, like I said, about being around the team has been such a crucial part of this recovery process. It's, having guys like Mason Primeau, Ty Cheveldayoff, and Liam Gorman earlier in the year, Jackson Stewart, guys who are out long term, having, as much as it sucks not being on the ice and having more injuries, but being together through recovery process, I think garners a sense of positivity. And having guys in the same boat makes it easier to watch games, and you can kind of talk about it, continue to learn as you watch rather than sitting there and pout. I think that's been a key piece. But to answer your question again, like I watch pretty diligently, and I want to learn every game. I want to, I'm just as competitive in the press box as I would be on the ice. So I think one thing to work on is channeling emotions while watching, because it's out of your control being on the ice. But just watching for things and maybe having conversations with guys after the game, obviously coaches give feedback, but when you're playing, it's hard. You don't, really have as much feedback as possible, because the coach has got to look over for 20 guys. So if guys come up to me and ask, like, what'd you see out there? How do you think I played? Like, it's good that, it's good to watch diligently, like I said, so I can give them positive and productive feedback.
All the names you just listed, that's like 2 top scoring lines that's been sitting in the box here for us. It's a lot of talent there. For sure.
But no, I give them my hats off to, Chevy had a great start to the year. He hurts his ankle, and I mean, we played with him 2 years ago, and he's been working endlessly to try and get back. So that lifts, that helps lift me up every day. Mason Primeau with he's been out long term, and seeing his work ethic, and then Jackson Stewart, seeing light at the end of the tunnel, being out for 3 months, and he's a young guy, and he comes back, and I thought he played exceptional last weekend. He's a great teammate, excellent young player, and he's, he did his job this weekend, and he came back after a long time and got a great assist, I think his first pro point, and he made plays and was physical. So I'm really happy to see that end of it as well. But the guy's still in it. I think we lean on each other and pick each other up on bad days. And as you know, it's not easy, but I think it'll pay off in the long run. I know it will.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, more change this year. New coach Rick Kowalsky coming down from Bridgeport. What are some things that have surprised you about Coach and his approach to coaching the team?
Yeah, I mean, I've been he's a really, again, like I said about Dexter and Susan, he's a really good person. From the first conversation I had, we chatted for a while, and it's been one of the other things that sucks about being injured is not being able to play under him. I think guys are learning a lot. Guys are developing. When you look at our team's record, yeah, we had a good start, but there's leaps and bounds in a season, but we keep picking ourselves up out of those, and that's what'll make us a great team in the long run is being resilient. And I would say the biggest thing that stands out about Killer is his poise and his professionalism. In those bad, after losing 3 in a row, he's very dedicated to the process, and you can tell he's been doing it a long time. And I think in those times it truly shows, and not not getting up in arms, but sticking to growth, development, and having that day-by-day approach. I think it bleeds in. I know it bleeds into our room, and we're starting to reap some benefits. And now I think we're at game 33. We got to continue with that. He talks about it all the time, being process-oriented, and that's the only way to go about things if you want to have success. In a 72-game season, it's so challenging. So they have a coaching staff. I think all of them from Killer, Tolks, Crump, and Brad Staubitz as well. Like, they're just very dedicated to the process and getting us to be better hockey players and people, and that's a championship culture.
Yeah, he brings so much experience to the club, his days up in New Jersey as an NHL coach and all the years in the AHL. And I know Dexter and I talked about it, just the relationship with Providence. I'm not going to talk about that today, but there just seems to be more cohesiveness between Boston, Providence, and Maine now. I call it out, like last year at this time, Marco Sturm was coaching the AHL. Last year at this time, Rick Kowalsky was coaching the AHL. They were on the same level. And now you've got one in the NHL, of course, one here in Maine. So it's really good symmetry with those 3 head coaches. And just as you said, I think it's paying dividends for sure.
For sure. And I think, it's been a positive year for the Bruins, Providence, and the Mariners. And that's what you want, a 3-tier system. And I think, like last year, we didn't really have many players from Providence. This year we do. So that kind of writing on the walls there. There's been more signings, less guys leaving. And I think that's a big thing is, with success, less guys leave. So it's great to see. And I feel like the identity throughout watching the Bruins play, they're mean, they're tough, and trying to get that throughout the whole organization is crucial. I think we've seen it, guys. Our team's been playing hard, and we're seeing the results of that.
I didn't have this on our list, Wyllum, but do you watch a lot of Bruins games on your time off?
I try to. I love watching them because I think they're good this year. They toughened up, and it sucks last year losing Marchand, who's Nova Scotia guy, great captain, great player, Hall of Famer. So, but I think they've retooled pretty quickly, and I enjoy watching them. I can't get Nesson on my TV these days, so I've been frustrated with that. But I try and watch them every chance I can.
Oh, we got to fix that Nesson piece for you, man. That's no good. That's no good. Oh boy, yeah, Marshy leaving was a killer. I'm still not quite recovered from that. Not just that he's gone, but that he's in Florida. The team that's just been a thorn in our side. But it's we got to move on. But going back to the Mariners, of course, Jacob Perreault having a real good, strong season. 22 points for him. Brooklyn Kalmakoff, of course, the All-Star for the Mariners this year. You've been around these guys a good bit now. What have you taken away from those relationships with those 2 players? Yeah,
and funny enough, I played with Callie. Right out of college, I signed with the Wheeling Nailers for a few games. Callie was there, and then he's one of the guys, I think, between myself, Callie, and Brad Arvanitis, who have been with the Mariners the longest, so 3 years. So seeing Callie have success this year is great. I'm really happy for him. We've kind of been through the tougher stretches with the Mariners. Obviously, our first year we made the playoffs, but we still had tough times in that season throughout the middle of the year. And then last year, having a tough first half and then pulling ourselves out at the end. So to see him get an AHL deal, have success scoring and evolving his game is really, exciting for me to see as a teammate. I think he's been playing more physical, going to the net more, and adding that on top of his skill set is that's what will help him get to where he wants to get to in hockey. So, it's great. I'm really happy for Callie. Going to the All-Star game last week was exciting for him, and I'm looking to see him continue that success into the second half. And with Jacob Perreault, obviously an extremely talented player, was a first-round pick, and he's a great guy to have around the locker room. He keeps it light. I thought he did really well when he went up to Providence, and coming back down, he's been playing well, and I hope to see him continue that success and get back up to the AHL and show what he can do.
I just look at his skating ability. I mean, more than I would about that, but he looks different out there than a lot of the other guys, right? Just his ability on skates is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's very creative with the puck. He's extremely talented, and seeing kind of some of the goals he scores, I don't even know, didn't see it coming. So, and I think his shot is very, very deceptive, and he works on that a lot. So, he scores some goals where you don't really see it coming, and then boom, it's in the back of the net.
He scores except on Friday night when Lennox throws his stick out there at the end of overtime. I still don't know how Lennox got that puck and kept it out of the net. Yeah. That was stupid.
Yeah, tip your cap. He played extremely well. I think Lennox has had. When I lived in Toronto when I was younger, he's 2 years younger than me, so he was a couple grades below at school. We went to the same school, and he was obviously a highly touted prospect. And his numbers aren't great this year, but I think Killer had him in Bridgeport last year for a bit. He's had some injuries, and it's good to see him, battle through those injuries, kind of like I'm going through. And but he's a really good goalie, and I think it's starting to come out. So sometimes you're gonna run into hot goalies, and like we did, we found a way on Sunday to get to him. We found a way to get to Gahagan on Saturday. So no matter what gets thrown away, we got to find a way to get through it. So it was a great save, but great response on Saturday by our team.
Yeah, no question about that. And gonna have a couple more tough goalies coming in this weekend with trois-rivieres as well.
Yeah.
So more of that to come. And now a word from DraftKings, the jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. Well, and let's talk a little bit about leadership. Of course, you can't be on the ice, but being able to be around the team, how have you been able to continue impacting the club in a positive way?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a tough one because I like to, I'd say, lead by example, lead through my play. So obviously it kind of weighs on you when you get hurt. You're long-term not going to be on the ice as much, but it's been a good challenge. And obviously I want to uphold, my duties as a captain and make sure I'm, trying to make an impact and being there for guys. But I think it's pretty simple. You just got to continue to be inward focused and take care of your stuff. And that's the biggest way to lead by example, even though you're hurt. So, showing up to the rink every day early and getting, having that dedication to rehab to show the guys that even in tough times, you're still selling out and giving it all you can got. So I think that consistency is some way to show the guys and maybe pick them up when they're in the tougher days of the season. Like obviously our schedule is not easy, and I commend the guys for grinding through it. I remember obviously from playing it's tough, the 3-3s, the 7-10, those games. And I think just what I can do and what I can control is just bringing a positive attitude to the rink and having conversations with the guys, trying to pick them up where I can, but not doing, I think it's on the other end of it is that, being out, we've seen other guys, we always talk about it, like having a letter on your jersey doesn't mean that someone, or not having a letter on your jersey doesn't mean you can't be a leader. I think everyone pulls on the rope, and that's a big piece to winning teams. So, with me being out, has other guys step up like Jacob Hudson, Vids and other guys like that taking on more bigger leadership roles in games. So I think that challenge has been good for them too. And you've seen them evolve as players and people. And but at the end of the day, we have a ton of character and leadership in the room. So it's everyone does their piece. And just because I wear the C, it doesn't mean I'm above anyone else or anything like that. It's a collective effort. We have a ton, Andrew Nielsen, an older guy coming in who's been great, he's been playing great hockey. So it's there's nothing really to do extra. It's just kind of staying in, taking care of my business and being there for the guys however I can.
Yeah, and to that point, you have, as you said, other leaders on the team not wearing the A or the C.
Yeah,
that's not, we can't take that for granted. Not every club is going to have the leadership room that the Mariners have this year. I think, would you say we're pretty fortunate to have some of those guys?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's tons of guys. Like, there's been a lot of moments this year too where I look at the group and it's great to see guys stepping up. Like I said, guys evolving. Like there's Sebastian Vidmar's played 6 or 7 seasons. He's been around. He's a guy who comes to the rink every day. He never complains, and he's the oldest guy on the team. And he just puts his head down and works through injuries, all little stuff like that. It's a great guy to look towards. And Jacob Hudson's in his second-year pro, wearing a letter. Max Andreev, I think he's taken some big strides character-wise this year, and that's what you want. You want to, like I said earlier, you want to develop players and people. So, and I think his play speaks for it. And I think there's a ton, as you go down the roster, there's a ton of guys. There's rookies. Like I commend Jackson Bellamy for coming in here. He plays hard every night. He competes, and he's made huge strides too. So it's up and down the lineup. There's no, just because you're a rookie doesn't mean you're a leader. I think everyone needs to have that sense. That's what we want to build is a deep team with deep character, and that's winning teams right there. So we're lucky, and like I said about Andrew Nielsen and Ty Shovelday, Mason Primeau, all these guys who are in the room, like older guys with experience. It's great to have them around.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, to your point, Nielsen has looked phenomenal the last couple weekends. Just been great, scoring in different fashions too. I've kind of like to see that.
Yeah, I know for sure. And I think with another guy to add to the injury list too is Zach Mascott, who wears a letter for us and is an exceptional player who is just consistent every night with his game. And it's a guy, it's a tough loss. We hope to see him back soon, but having a bigger body like Nielsen come in and play hard and do that stuff is great. And so you need those guys back there. It makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to ask this, Wyllum, because the fans are going to get after me if I don't. You may not be able to share anything, but of course, been injured the whole year. What can you share about your injury and your timetable at this point?
Yeah, I think a lot of fans have chatted with me during the games, but it's and even I had a conversation with Killer this morning and I had to kind of rein it back and reframe my mindset. But it's day by day. Like the next few months here, I'm aiming to get back by the end of the season. That's all I can really share, and just taking it day by day. And I'm getting better every day. So I don't want to put a tag on anything or a timetable. It's just want to keep improving and stay in the moment. And then when the day comes, I get the tap. I'm excited to get back there.
Awesome. Yeah, we all cannot wait for that. You are a Nova Scotia guy, but as former Bruins play-by-play legend Jack Edwards would say, you're a Harvard man as well. But watching, we mentioned Marchand earlier, watching Sid, McKinnon, Marchand, guys like this coming out of Nova Scotia and coming to having just dominance. Obviously, those are 3 really special players, all coming from Nova Scotia. Does that resonate with you as a Nova Scotia kid as you're going through your levels of hockey?
Yeah, I mean, having those guys as role models in the community has been, I think it's grown the game of hockey as a whole in Nova Scotia. I mean, there's been great players throughout history from the Maritimes, from Nova Scotia, but I mean, for our age group, being a 2000 born, like when we were growing up, that's when Crosby entered the league and Marchand and then McKinnon. So getting to watch McKinnon play for the Mooseheads was pretty cool. But I think like Marchand, I've got the chance to skate with him a bit and work out with him back home, and his work ethic, like the stuff you don't see, the stuff behind the scenes that he does is quite exceptional. I think we talk about being process oriented, like things he can do, the things he does in the summer, his work ethic is unmatched. And I heard someone say it last summer that he's one of the probably the hardest worker in the NHL. And even this injury, I think Marchand had a couple surgeries one summer, and he came back early timetable, and he's been doing great since. So I tip my cap to him. He's really good in the community back home. He's a great person, really down to earth, and he's the ultimate competitor. He's a guy to model your game after. He's a little undersized, but he plays like he's 6'5", and his best hockey's in the playoffs. So he's definitely someone that I've been grateful to look up to and train alongside here and there. So that's it's been great growing up in Nova Scotia. I'm forever grateful for all my connections there, all the people I met there. They're just awesome.
That's great. It is a neighbor here of our state of Maine, so we always kind of look fondly at those Nova Scotia guys coming out. Oh, we're going to jump across the pond. Of course, we have the Olympics in Milan right around the corner. Of course, the players have been screaming for this for years. We had a little taste of it with Four Nations last year. But how much do you think about best on best and the Olympics and things like that?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the Four Nations last year was a really good product on the ice. You've seen the games, it's the biggest, fastest, and strongest players on the ice, and it's gotten some guys, kind of got exposed weaknesses, and it was just a really high level game. And it'll be exciting and to see that again, and how the U.S. and Canada and Sweden, Finland, how those top teams from the Four Nations evolved going into the Olympics. And I think it's just a really good showing of where the game's headed. I mean, I think the game is so skilled now, so physical, so strong. Like it's quite fun to watch, and it's a good learning opportunity for us. I remember last year watching it and seeing how those guys, the compete level, the speed, it's off the charts. So it'll be a fun event to tune into.
It's fun. No, it'll be fun. I think, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not a big Olympic guy myself, but something about this round, I'm kind of giddy for what we're going to see.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, this is now part of 3 seasons you've been here in the city of Portland. Of course, Portland's changed a lot over the years too, but can you share some of your favorite areas or parts of Portland and maybe some things that have surprised you in the 3 years being here in Portland?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Nova Scotia and Maine have a lot of similarities. The people are super nice, and I always love interacting with the fans, meeting new people. They've been great, and I think one of the things I cherish the most is the Mariners and what we have going right now and our fans. So that definitely stands out. But I mean, I love being around here. I mean, I haven't really got to experience the summer as much as I go home, but I love downtown's great. All the restaurants. Eating around here is awesome. But even at the areas surrounding, like I lived in Old Orchard Beach my first season here, and I love that. It was it's pretty quiet in the winter, but it's a great spot. It's a really fun place to play.
Well, the Mariners, of course, sitting in 4th place in the North Division, 39 points after 2 5 out of 6 point weekends, on a really good stretch right now. From your perch, from where you're watching games, give me your best analysis of the team and of the play, and what the expectations are here over the next kind of 2 and 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the standings, it's pretty tight. Like we're in 4th, we got a little separation, but we really don't in the long run. So, I mean, we just got to stay forward focused, and like I said, stick to the process. Every weekend we play. We play a lot of the same teams down the stretch: Adirondack, Worcester, Trois. And if you look at the standings, they're all side by side. So. It's going to be crucial for us to stay weekend by week, game by game, treat every game, every weekend series is kind of like a playoff series is what we've kind of said, because you don't want to let things slip here. We want to be, we want to put ourselves in a great position for playoffs and set ourselves up for success. So, but on the ice, I feel like we've really taken steps. Getting some guys back in the lineup has helped. I think our physicality has ramped up, and that's not going crazy or fighting or anything like that. It's just playing hard, owning the front of our net, being present at the front of their net. Those are keys to our game. And then I think just playing fast. Like with our size, we also have a lot of speed. And when we're playing to our identity, we're giving ourselves the best chance to win. So, a lot of that too is defending. Our details in our D zone are crucial. Obviously, we have when Cavs down and in we have 2 of the best goalies in the league, in my opinion. So giving them help and making their lives easy is crucial. Going to be crucial at the stretch, especially in 3-on-3s when we're tired, that stuff really comes into play.
Yeah, and the penalty kill, from what I've seen, has been a real weapon for you guys. You guys have really been able to change momentum in
Right.
games by just taking a penalty kill and just not giving a team any life.
Yeah, no, special teams are huge, and Tolks does a great job with our PK. Last year, our PK was pretty high. I think for even though our record, especially in the second half, we did a really good job, and I think there's a lot of buy-in to the PK. Tolks does a great job with details, like we said about the D zone, and he also just takes a lot of pride, and that pride bleeds into our penalty killers in the whole room to make sure guys know that it's not a pretty job, but it's crucial. And great team, the Panthers, I think the Oilers, the two teams in the Cup final last year, both had really good penalty kills. I think Edmonton was the best in the league 2 years ago. So something I love doing. I mean, it's a big piece, like you said, of momentum in closing out hockey games. So I commend the guys. They're doing a great job blocking shots, and just getting up ice, working. So it's great to watch.
Of course, you have added a couple new players. I didn't have this on our list, but Jordan and Venuccio both coming in. I've just always commended Kowalsky for being able to bring in new players that just seem to seamlessly fit into the team, into the culture. What have you seen out of those two guys so far?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's done a great job filling the gaps and when we're in need. And I think Venuto and Jordan have both, they're bigger bodies. They're fast. They go to the hard areas. And I think they're going to be great additions down the stretch. So, and especially you've seen it I think Venuto had a great first weekend, a big goal last weekend to tie it up. So he goes to the net and he goes to the hard areas, and that's what you want. He's simple, hard, and direct. And the same with Jordan. He's got a really good shot and he can skate. So I think they'll be both really good assets to the Mariners here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Wyllum, I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. It's been awesome catching up with you, and obviously we can't wait to see you back on the ice soon.
Yeah, no, my pleasure, Ben. Thank you as well. Great chatting with you, and love talking Mariners hockey. So
awesome. Well, thank you all for watching and listening today. Again, apologize for my camera issues, but your continued support means the world to me. Don't forget, we have 3 games coming up here this weekend from the Cross Insurance Arena. Friday night, kicking it off against those Lions from Trois-Rivieres. Get those tickets now, marinersofmaine.com. We'll see you there. And until then, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.